What is it that us artists have in common? Well, we're here to find out. This is Red and Yellow Make Ginger. And welcome to the Red and Yellow Make Ginger podcast. I'm here with Smoe Nova, and if you don't know who Smoe Nova is already, you haven't been following the YouTube Art Collab, or
probably not.
Or you might be an OG. You might have heard of Smoe Nova long before that. But welcome to the podcast. Thanks for doing this. I've seen your videos, but we went through the email route. And I think the German internet's paused yet again, so we'll wait for a little bit. Yeah, the internet can't handle the excitement once again if you've been following the other podcasts for the YIC.
Recording in progress. There we are again.
There we go. So your internet didn't hit with your excitement once again.
So yeah, hello, my name is Smoe. I got a bad internet connection, but I'm a YouTuber, so maybe you know me. I'm super happy to be here in the Red and Yellow Makes Ginger podcast from Chris. I'm here to answer some questions about my experience of being a full-time artist for about already 15 years. Crazy.
Amazing. So I followed your videos, and people watching this are probably thinking I've got you on here just because you've got a large following, but it is trying to shine a light on people to highlight, you know, what does a full-time artist do, what does someone who's starting do. But what's interesting is even at my small following, I've got the same sort of questions around the algorithm and following these trends, and then going, actually, I'm an artist. I want to just paint. And so you reached in that stage in a video about 4 months ago. It was filmed in 2022 though. Reaching that stage, I just wondered what's changed, what brought that conclusion. And
I'm a pretty strong and pretty ignorant person, so it is not that easy to convince me to do something different than I want to do on my own. But in the last year, and it is funny because Doak told me the day will come when I got numbers sick, when I got sick of the numbers. And I said always, no, you already told me all about this. I'm stronger than that. This will not happen to me. But in the last year, suddenly, I'm a YouTuber for about 7 years now already. I was always just uploading like 2 videos a month or something, but it was growing and growing and growing. And in the last year, I was able to do it full time because there was enough money coming in. But suddenly something changed, because what was just a funny hobby before suddenly changed into something serious. And I tried to make strategies. I tried to understand the algorithm. And I was not free anymore. And I was always trying to make the next YouTube video that is sort of a hit or something, or a viral hit. And this drove me so crazy that at the end I was so exhausted I had to say, okay, I'm not made for this game. It was a super good experience for me, because now I'm convinced that everything I did before the last year was absolutely right, and I continue like that. I don't have to be a full-time YouTuber. It is completely okay to be an artist who shares what he loves and maybe just does not reach like 150,000 people. Maybe I just reach 1,500 or 10,000. But if the people that I reach are really interested in my art, it has so much more value than trying to get these high numbers of people who are basically not interested in the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting because the views don't necessarily relate to sales or relate to commissions. They can be those watching while doing something else, and to
Yeah.
have a real community of people actually following you is
Just need 1,000 people who
mm,
like your stuff that much that they are willing to pay $100 a year. Then you have $100,000. This is crazy.
I think 1000 was talking about this, how if they can't afford an original, they can afford a t-shirt. If they can't afford a t-shirt, they can afford stickers and different price ranges. And
Yeah.
it must be so different when it becomes your income, it becomes a good chunk of your income. So are you more commissioned based now and just sort of documenting what you're doing rather than thinking about the YouTube
It's
strategy?
it's a mix of it all. So before 2022, I was a commissioned artist who has the main income through commissions, mostly from electricity companies who said, okay, paint this electricity box or this bigger concrete box with some technical stuff in it. I don't know how to tell this in English, but I was doing this stuff and was doing YouTube as a side hustle, and already was starting with an online shop as another side hustle, and with an online class uh as another side hustle. And at the end, I have got always like 5 or 6 different income streams, and it is still like that, but it is now more like leveled. They're all equal, and it does not matter if I don't get any income from canvases, free canvases. This is like, it is the the artworks that I like the most, I would say, because it is super chilled. I can do it at home. I can paint as long as I want. It's always super chilled to record it. I don't have to go anywhere. Especially when I go to the factory or go to other walls in other cities, it is always like this preparing. I don't like preparing. I don't like to take to think about every single part of the equipment that I take with me, because when I forget one, I don't have it. But when I work at home, I have everything because I have everything here.
Yeah.
So this is always super chilled for me. So and nowadays I like doing canvases the most, but I still do YouTube videos with integrations in it. For I have got a video game in the next week where I paint a complete sponsored YouTube video for a video game. Then yeah, of course, sticker packs, prints. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it sounds like the mindset never really changes whether you're making money in YouTube or whether you're not, because once you start taking it seriously, you still put in the hours. And I mean, my story is I've only ever sold through a gallery or through like a co-op gallery or art craft
And
fair. I've
I
never
never sold through a gallery as well. Like I never have been in contact with any gallery. This is why I do it on
yeah.
my own. And I think it would be cool to have some gallery guy who says, "Hey yo, I love your
Oh,
stuff.
never had that.
Just paint 2 artworks a month. I sell them for 15,000 and you get 5."
Yeah.
Like I would say, okay, cool, deal. Let's do this. I don't have to do anything else anymore. I just can paint and that's it. But I think
I
this
would,
is
yeah, I would love that where they market, but I've only ever had the venue space and then I sell that way. But I've never got into the online market. So it's very interesting seeing how the mindset is pretty much the same, except for more pressure, I guess, because of the money involved and you've got a family as well. So it makes it even more of a pressure. But just thinking, were you always into your filming, or did that come as a result of the art kind of coming in? You know, how did YouTube kind of start, and how was it?
no. It came. I was I think I was 16 years old when I noticed that I have no other chance than being an artist. It is like if you have the chance to decide when it's your own decision that you want to become an artist, do it as a side thing, do it as a hobby or whatever. But when you got the feeling, like this deep feeling that you can't do it in another way. For me, being a full-time artist is just an excuse. It's an excuse to be able to paint all day.
Yeah.
Because when you paint in your free time, nobody has respect for that. Nobody. Oh, can you please clean the dishwasher? You're just painting. Can you please do this? You're just painting. Oh, has anybody time to go with the dog? Ah, it's Smoe. He's just painting. So when you do it as a hobby, nobody has respect for it. But when you do it as a full-time thing and you make money with it, this is like the best excuse. You are painting and you can always say, can you please stop annoying me? I'm working.
Working.
Yeah, I'm working. So
Doesn't matter if you enjoy it, you're working.
yeah. I have to paint. I go crazy when I don't paint. It is not like that I paint every day, but I paint a pretty decent amount of hours every week, and it is super necessary for my mental health to be able to afford the time to paint. And to come back to the question with the YouTube thing, it was like in 2015, and I was already being a full-time commissioned artist, but nobody cared at all about my canvases, about my graffiti, about the stuff that I was doing. And I felt like if I don't start to make advertisement for this stuff, I will stay the commissioned artist of a small city that tells you that your art, at least that you can be happy that somebody pays you to paint their wall and that nobody wants you really. Because this is how I always felt in my hometown. It was like, okay, we needed an idiot who paints this wall and who can do this. And okay, I know this graffiti guy. Okay, let's ask him if he is not that expensive, then he can do this. And this is not a good foundation for a family. And I was working like 100 hours every week. We were living in a 2-rooms apartment. We had already 2 kids. And we were like every month struggling as hell. We were selling our living room couch just to pay the rent because one of the clients did not pay, and it was a terrible time. And it was like every 2 or 3 weeks we were discussing about, okay, shouldn't we find another solution? Maybe I get a job as a product designer because this is what I studied. And we were always like, we were struggling so much. And I said, no, I don't. If I give up right now, because it is so hard, because it is so annoying, because you have this little kids. My kids were 2 and 3. 2 and 3. They are not even a year from each other. They're in September. They're always the same age, really close together. And at this time, I said, no, I want to try it in a different way. I want to make somehow advertisement for me. I just need people to see my art. This is why gallery shows are existing. This is why people are showing their art in different locations. And I want to use this internet thing when people in YouTube are just sitting there and talking bullshit and have 100,000 of views. I think my life as an artist, as somebody who has responsibility for a family, who is burning from the deepest of his heart for art, then this has to be interesting for other people, even if the people in my hometown, they don't care at all. And this is why I started this YouTube thing, and it started to grow pretty fast. I mean,
Wow, okay.
I
Different
reached
story. But yeah, that was.
I reached 500 subscribers within the first year. And this was really, I was making a screenshot of it because I was so proud, and I was, and the what I also liked always about this YouTube thing is that I had like a number. Suddenly it was possible to measure the quality of your art, because always at the beginning I was always liking to paint, and a lot of people were telling me that this is bullshit and I should stop it. My whole life was a big problem because I liked to paint, especially these graffiti letters, because nobody cares about them at all. And going this way through YouTube to make videos for this super tiny niche of people who are interested in bending letters and doing it in English and reaching the world, it was the best decision. And it was like, I just did it too late. I should have made it like 5 years earlier.
Well, I started in 2020, so
yeah. How old are you?
I'm 35.
You're 45?
35.
35. Okay. 35. Okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to say you look even younger than me. We need to talk about about what you eat.
Just I don't know, just a lot of exercise because of the ADHD and crazy. So yeah.
What is ADHD? You said it like two times.
Oh, the I don't know how you say it in German, but the attention deficit disorder, and you can. They say,
yeah, but this is good for an artist. It's
good for ideas for sure.
Yeah.
You just get too many of them sometimes.
Yeah, at the same time, and then everything clocks in your brain. And yeah, I have something like this probably as well. I always got I got a lot of problems with traveling. Like, different locations are such a problem for me, and everyone else tells me that this is not normal. So probably I have some sort of a fancy brain thing as well. Everything has to have a name, but I think I'm just an artist.
I mean, I think art helps catalog that brain. But going back to the letters, what's interesting about that is that originally I would probably have not really known much about them, but then the way you break them down with the graphics and show where the letters are, I find really interesting. And do you always sort of morph them with characters and trees and landscapes? Because those are the paintings of yours that I particularly gravitate towards, but also just the way they flow and the way you explain that flow is, I guess, bringing a new audience to the letters who maybe had no interest before.
Yeah, what I love the most is the black and white sketch of the letters. And everything else around is like the taste. It's like the letters are the medicine that I want to bring to the people, but it's some sort of bitter. It's not like the people want to like to take this medicine. But when I like make it a little bit more surrealistic, this is because this is something that I love as well, like these fantasy worlds. And then it is suddenly it is not graffiti anymore, it becomes art. And this is the place where I see myself the most, in a combination where the roots of my art are still super visible. And this is why I always show this in the videos, like, because it is, nobody understands these letters anymore, but when I break them down, it is super interesting for the people. And they also, when they, for example, have this original canvas at home, at the end I do this video. When I paint a canvas, I do this video for the customer, because I want this customer to have all the knowledge about the artwork. And also I really like to show that this is not all random. It is all very well thought, very well placed, everything balanced, and there's so much years and years of practice in it. And when I give people who have no idea about it the chance to understand it. This is a success for them. And I think people who see this and suddenly understand this, they have like a good feeling afterwards. They don't think like, okay, I'm too dumb to understand it. No, there's the Smoe guy. He explains it in easy words, like a 5 years old would explain how to go over the street. He explains it to me, I understand it, and suddenly I got a different view for letters. I get so many messages from people who tell me, like, hey, Smoe, before I saw your YouTube channel, I did not have any idea about graffiti letters at all. And now, when I go through the streets and I see a graffiti, I'm standing there and I'm analyzing it and I'm trying to see what is in there. And I even had conversations with people who told me that they were in a group in a city and suddenly explained others about graffiti, and the whole group was like, "Why do you know this?" And it's so funny. It's so cool that I give some sort of an insight.
No, it's definitely my story. I haven't got round to going around Bristol yet because we have a lot of letters, a lot of full murals as well, and it's known for it. Although I think the city, the people in charge, are starting to change their mind about what they want Bristol to be. But yeah, so they are trying to get rid of some graffiti. But
okay,
but I think there's graffiti and then there's street art. I think there is a sort of there's some really amazing stuff out there, and then there's the tags which people don't seem to understand or like. But then seeing like what you're saying, how it brings a new audience to there, I completely changed my view on letters and tags and things from seeing the can control and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely changing people's perspective on that. Just looking at time, so we've got a little bit of time left. So I was thinking, do you have a lot of sketches that you don't show on social media? Because I tend to show it all, and then I feel a bit like, oh, they're not going to think I'm a good artist because I show everything. But I try and show a lot of finished work as well.
I show basically everything, but not right when it's finished. Sometimes a sketch makes sense some years later because I made the sketch and back then it looked crooked, but I was not able to understand why. And some years later, and after some practice and some improvement of my style, suddenly I understand why this one letter looked crooked and what was wrong with it. And then I can show it as an example, because I always think it is super interesting to show also the work that you don't like, and also talk about where you have some problems with whatever it is. And for example, one of the next videos, I painted two people who are running away from a monster, and they look like complete bullshit. But I don't know. This was not my day, and I was not able to paint them in a better way. And so I own it. It is like it is.
Yeah, we get those days.
And this is good for the audience as well, because they are always thinking like people on Instagram and on YouTube, and they are always like never failing. And I'm so in love with the failing. And this is something that I also learned from Doke, because he was failing so many times in his tryout series and so on. And he made everything a little bit more human in the graffiti scene. Like before, it was all just gangster, and people can paint a whole train in a half of an hour, filling with the one hand and doing the outline simultaneously with the other hand while fighting with a cop. It's like there was so much mystery and crazy stories all around this graffiti thing, and now it becomes more relatable. Like the next 16 years old who wants to start with this stuff now can see it, and he has a feeling about how long does it take to paint a burner piece, and how many colors do I have to take with me, how expensive is this stuff, and so on. And I think this is really, really helpful, especially for people who don't have any connection to the graffiti scene like I had in the first days.
And where do you find those for commissions and things? How do you connect to your clients? Because those listening, may not even know where to start. Even I don't be a whole podcast in itself. So
my commissions, I'm a very I'm talking a lot, and when when people meet me, I always have some nice words, and I always use some time to explain them what I'm doing. And I think at the beginning I just wanted to paint somewhere, but I did not have a wall, and I always wanted to have a wall where I can paint, because painting at night, it was just too stressful for me. It was annoying. We don't have a graffiti scene over here. Everybody already knew that I was sketching graffiti letters in the school all the time. So who should this be who paints at the bridge? Of course, it is Smoe. It's like a very small city over here. And I was always trying to find a wall, and through an coincidence, at the day of the open door of my school, I was painting an artwork for the school with spray cans, and one of the fathers who wanted to check out the school for his son, he came to me and said, I see you're the first graffiti artist that I see who paints at daytime. We have this wall that sometimes it always gets some text on it, and we have to cover the text with gray color. Don't you want to paint at this wall? We just make you get a how is it called when you're allowed to do it? Paper.
You get permission.
Permission, yes.
Yeah.
You get a permission, a written permission. You can paint there, paint whatever you want, and this would be cool. So we don't have any cleaning anymore. So you can paint there. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And I started painting there at daytimes. Of course, at the beginning, always the police was stopping and asking me what I'm doing there, and I always have to show my identity card. I think I have shown my identity card like 200 times to policemen, but this is another story. And also, I was always taking care to paint some characters besides my graffitis, and the people, they were able to identify with the characters, and then they asked me, "Hey, yo, I like this character. Can you paint whatever Winnie Pooh to my kids' room? Or can you paint what was one of the first commissions was a universe on a garage door and all this stuff." And then I always said, okay, yeah, I can do this because I like painting, and I always sent the spray cans to the customer, so they were paying the spray cans at their door. Mm-hmm. I was painting there and was taking like 150 spray cans for a garage door. And I was like, I was thinking that I tricked the system. Like, I'm so intelligent. I have a super expensive hobby where I don't have to pay anything for it. This felt so clever. But then it became more and more and more until in 2007, suddenly a big company wanted to have a 175 square meters wall painted by me. And they wanted to have an invoice. And this was the day when I suddenly became a full-time artist.
Yeah.
It just happened.
So to honor your time, just one question that I ask all my guests, and that's for those who are putting themselves out there for the first time on like social media or in general, and maybe becoming a bit disillusioned with it, what advice would you give them?
My advice would be keep in mind that one day you will have the number sickness like I had I was talking about this at the beginning, but don't try to force the fast success. Try to share the love with the art that you have on social media, to find other people who are interested in it. And if it is like, it's not possible to have always viral hits. And the most people who start very ambitious on Instagram or on TikTok or whatever, they start, and then after like 6 or 8 weeks, they have the first viral hit. Something reaches like 100,000 people, and they got a lot of likes. And after that, they are they have no motivation to continue again, because all other posts afterwards don't perform that good. But please keep this performing of the posts completely out of your brain. It has nothing to do with your art. Always focus on the art. If you have a terrible post that performs terrible, but you have this great artwork that you painted in this post, in 10 years, you will not think about this terrible post anymore, but you have still this nice artwork, or you already sold it. But if you change your content just to please an audience that does not care about you, and your post will not perform, you have painted something that you didn't want to paint, what you don't like in 10 years, because you know you painted it just to get an effect, just to reach a lot of people, and it didn't work, so you have a bad post and a bad artwork. So always, the only thing that you are under control is the art. This is the only thing you're under control. And try to post as much, try to bring as much valuable content out there as possible. Be honest, and just go your way with your audience. Like, when you don't know everything, it is totally okay. I make mistakes all the time. In one of my newest videos, I sent a canvas to a group exhibition in Paris, and I was stretching it, and the whole canvas was breaking. The whole paint layer was breaking, and it has all cracks everywhere. And I have had no chance to repair it, because I was already 5 days over the date when I have to deliver the artwork. And yeah, stuff like that happens. Stay honest, take your audience with you, and give a shit about the numbers.
Well, this has been absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, thanks for giving your time for busy schedule to talk to me, a smallish channel, and
yeah,
nice to finally meet you. Because, like I was saying in the little pre-talk we had, I'm always seeing the collaborations and the fun that's happening with all the sort of YouTubers. I'm thinking, I would like to be in amongst that. Not necessarily you, but just other artists, and collaborate and have that fun. So thanks for coming on and giving great advice from someone who's doing it full time. So
you are welcome. Yes, of course. I'm always happy to share, because when I imagine, this is also helpful. I think this is also helpful when you do when you start posting on the internet. You need to think about who is your audience. Who does this one person that you make the content for look like? And because I started so late, it was pretty easy for me, because my target audience is 16 years old Smoe, who has no idea about what I'm doing, and who discovers my channel today, and just has all this big amount of knowledge and ideas and videos. And this is why I always try to make every video so good that 16 years old Smoe will say, wow, this is cool. What a cool guy. I want to be like this dude one day.
And I think we can all do that, look back at our younger selves and make it for that person. Yeah, so
okay, pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, so
but when somebody starts
obvious,
with
when
somebody starts with 16,
yeah,
this is a problem. Maybe he or she should make his content for 15-year-old him or her.
Or maybe every video, 20-year-old, 15-year-old, we all have that person that we need advice from. And yeah. But yeah, this has been absolutely wonderful. So thanks for all those who have been listening. I always end my podcast by saying, just keep scribbling, keep drawing, get past the perfectionism, because that's how you lead to new ideas and the good stuff. You have to make bad art first. So yeah, just keep scribbling. And
Always.
yep. So it's bye from me, Chris, extempore art, and Smoe Nova.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.